Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. And I have a very big build for you today. This is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house coming in at just shy of 200,000 simoleons. And it's on a really big lot as well. This is probably one of the longest voiceovers I've had on my channel, so make sure you're sitting tight. We've got like 37 minutes together, not including screenshots. So I hope you are looking forward to this big family farmhouse. It's like a modern family farmhouse. I was working on this over on Twitch over the last couple of weeks, and I'm so excited to finally share the finished product here. The shape here took a very long time to come together, and it was a lot of experimenting. So we're actually going to be on the outside of the house for quite a lot of time. And then when we go inside, we do the floor plan and a lot of the interior, and then I go back to the backyard, and it kind of skips all over the place as I was feeling inspired for different portions of this video. I also did cut out a little bit of footage, I think primarily hallways and bathrooms, but I should point those out as we get to them. But one of the things I was really excited about in this house is I have like the main family house, and then there's this breezeway that you can walk over that heads you into the barn. And I have chickens in the farm, in the barn. And I just think it looks so cute in the end. I also played around with terrain a little bit on this lot, and I used a lot of debug cars. I do end up keeping the tractor, but not that truck. And you can see I'm playing around with some of the pieces I want to put on the house right now that are holding up that portion of the house. I also loved the garage door I used here. That is from the Industrial Loft Kit, and it was just perfect for the front of the barn. I also put it on the back so you can access that from both sides of the house. And I just think this house was so much fun. I love doing things like this, but they are so time consuming, so I don't do them very often. And when I do, I tend to do them on stream, so it's more of a collaborative experience. So I get to hang out with y'all and chit chat and come up with ideas instead of just sitting alone and struggling through a build, because these bigger ones I really have a hard time with. So if you're ever interested and would like to join us for that, I do stream 3 days a week over on twitch.tv/MissGryphi. There'll be a link down below if you'd like to follow me over there. It is absolutely free, and I would love to have you join us. I stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Although this is going out on a Thursday, which is Thanksgiving in the US, so I will not be live tonight, but I will be at next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if you would like to join us. We do all sorts of stuff like this. Sometimes it's small builds, sometimes it's big builds, but a lot of the builds you see here on the channel, I do build over on Twitch first. So yeah, feel free to join us. With that being said, though, I am starting to work on the backyard a little bit, but not really. I just wanted to put like a fence here to get an idea of where I wanted the space to be. And it all changes quite a bit because, you know, the backyard was not the top priority at the very beginning. I needed to get the whole shape of the house first. And you'll actually see as I'm working on the back of the house, I end up having a couple of different bump outs with more than one porch. And then at some point in time, I'm like, why do I have that? And I combine them all together and get rid of a little bit of the inside of the house. And I think that worked out nicely. I think this house actually ends up having a really cool floor plan. It came together fairly quickly, but it's a very strange one at the same time. It's a weird shaped house because this house does have diagonal portions to it, so of course it's going to be a little bit weird shaped, but I like that. I think it makes it a bit more unique. And here I'm just figuring out the outside colors. I had it the opposite of this for a while, where the tops were brown and the bottoms were white, and then all of the pillars were brown, but I thought that this looked so much nicer and cleaner, so I was happy that I switched to those. And then I have a couple of little accent pieces of this stone throughout, and I brought that into the interior of the build as well. And there's a few different fireplaces inside as well as chimneys outside. And I tried to have a decent amount of landscaping as well. I wanted this home to feel very like overgrown, but in a lush, beautiful way, not in a messy way. But I do also have a little bit of messy, overgrown stuff as well. Just a little bit. I wanted this to be a very, active farm. There's a family living here, and not everything's going to be perfect. It's like a process, and I think this would be a really fun lot to live on. I do have enough space for a lot of chickens, I think 32, because I believe you can have 8 chickens per coop, and then I have 4 of them, 2 outside and 2 inside in the barn. And then I have 1 animal shed that could be for a llama or a cow, which I think is a pretty good amount for The Sims. I know in real life, those numbers are kind of off, but in the game, I feel like it's very difficult to take care of so many of these animals that we got with cottage living. So I think that's a pretty good amount. It might be too many chickens. You might want to get rid of some of the chickens, to be honest, or not fully fill up all of the coops. I just thought it looked really nice that way, and I wanted to have some that were actually inside, so I opted for that, but of course you can change that. But anyway, I am working on the landscaping here, starting with some low-lying flowers, and then I'm getting some bigger flowers throughout and trying to figure out what colors to go with. I want to say I went with a purple in the end just because this house is brown, and I just love how purple looks with brown. Yeah, it looks like I did. So I'm just grabbing a bunch of different purple flowers. We have some with like regular debug. There's some that came with cottage living as well. Those are like purple roses. And I put some yellow flowers throughout as well to kind of break that up. I thought it looked quite pretty. I was really happy with the landscaping on this lot. I did cut out some of the landscaping, I think mostly in the backyard. I keep a lot of it on the front yard in, but you might see some trees and shrubs and stuff pop into place because it does get a little bit repetitive after a while, but I wanted to include as much of it as possible so you could get the gist of what we were doing there. And I've heard comments from y'all that you really enjoy watching the landscaping, and whenever I'm streaming, there's always people excited when we get to landscaping. So I think that's kind of fun. So I did keep a good chunk of it in, just not all of it. So I got some more trees out front, and then we're trying to figure out what sort of fencing to have around this property. I also layered these bushes over the top of the fence. I just thought it looked really nice that way, sort of like they're growing over it. And I got some outdoor planters out front. I, at one point, had some out back as well, but I changed my mind and didn't have that. So I named this a farmhouse, but they're not really growing much of any plants here. They're just focusing on their animals. And I think that's okay. I think that's a little bit of fun, actually. So that's what I had in mind for this particular build. And as you can see here, I'm playing around more with this little driveway that goes under that upstairs portion leading to the backyard. I thought that that could be useful for like tractors and like moving animals. And I just thought it was a cool idea. I thought that the shape of this house is really unique. And so just experimenting a little bit more with that and getting some more shrubs and greenery around as well as flowers. And then here I am in the back trying to figure out what I want this area to look like, because right now it's just very, it's flat over here. Oh, wait, we do grow a lot of things. How did I forget? It's just we don't grow anything outside. We have a whole greenhouse in this build. I don't know how I forgot that. That's what we're working on right now, getting the shape for. It's just I got rid of the planters I put outside a little bit later. I thought I was going to have them for a while, but then they go away, and I figured out a better solution for the backyard. But we have an entire greenhouse with lots of planters in it, so you can definitely focus on your gardening skill here as well. I have no idea why that slipped my mind, but figuring that out now, and going to be getting the porch. So this is the situation I was talking about, where I'm going to be adding a porch right outside here. But then there's this other bump out in between them, between where one porch is and the other porch is. And I believe I cut out a lot of footage, so it looks like I make this decision pretty quickly. But it was there for a long time before I was like, wait, why do I have 2 porches? This looks ridiculous. I need to fix this. So that little bump out in the middle is going away now. And then we just have a much bigger porch, which I think just works a lot better. And we have a couple of different doors leading to the outside. One of them is in a back mudroom sort of area. And the other one is right out of the greenhouse. And then just getting some lights in here, fixing any of the roof clipping. And then I think we should be going into the floor planning. I believe this one came together fairly simply. It's just the rooms are huge. So I'm placing down the stairs, and I tend to do that first and then figure out the upstairs floor plan to make sure we have enough of the bedrooms, because you can kind of make a downstairs floor plan work around the stairs. It's a lot easier than you can upstairs, because if you're facing a corner, where you're going to put all of the rooms at the top of the steps. So that's what I try and do. I usually put the stairs either right by the front door or in the middle of the house, and I think that works the best. But this is a 5-bedroom house. I have a primary bedroom, I believe a teen bedroom, a baby bedroom. I'm trying to remember them all. We'll see them as we go through them. They came out really cute. I had a lot of fun decorating the rooms, but when I have houses with more bedrooms like this, sometimes it's really hard to keep track of it. But right now I'm just playing around more with this floor plan here, and We're going to actually have the kitchen in this back corner, and the dining space has these windows that look out into the greenhouse, which I thought was a bit of fun. Also, these are not the counters I'm going to end up using. I'm just placing those down to get a better idea of the space. So all of this random furniture I'm placing down is just placeholder, so I have a better concept of how I'm decorating this area. And I wanted to use a bay window seat over there as well. We got this in a couple of different packs. I believe they were first introduced with cats and dogs, but they're really nice. I just don't often have houses that have that sort of shape in them anymore. So, well, I guess I do want to make Victorian houses, and I haven't done that in a while. So let me know if you'd like to see another Victorian on the channel. I really love that style of house. I think that's probably like my dream style of house. Although there's a lot of styles of houses I like. So I guess we'll have to see if I ever can afford a house, what sort of style I go for. But I would love a Victorian. That'd be awesome. Anyway, over here is that back door area, which is sort of like a mudroom. And then the little room off of it is going to be a laundry room, which is not something I include in builds very often. I feel like I have been more lately because I end up having an extra room I don't know what to do with. So it ends up being a laundry room, which is quite nice because it's something you can easily ignore or turn into another bathroom if you don't want to play with the laundry in the game. And if you do, it has a space to be. So anyway, we are actually working on the kitchen now. I opted for these countertops from Jungle Adventure. I think they are so pretty, and they were the perfect wood tone that I wanted to use in this space. I was really going for like cozy, modern family home, and I hope I achieved that. I think it comes out really nice, and I had areas of the house that were supposed to look a little bit more put together and pristine versus other areas that were more so the family space. So we do have 2 different living rooms, and so the one that's like right connected here in that giant room is more of the formal living room, but I feel like they probably still spend a lot of time there. And then there's another one that's a lot more cozy with a TV and like a lot of kids' toys, and I just think that's more like the private family room. It's right at the bottom of the stairs too, which I think works out nicely. But anyway, in the kitchen here, I just made sure to have all of the things you would need. We also have a dishwasher in here, some shelves with like pastas and sauces and stuff on them. I really like that shelf piece. It's from the Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack. And I often do tuck it into the bottom of cabinets like that to make it so you only see the bottom shelf. Because the top shelf is really pretty as well, but it has a bunch of frames on it. And I just think it's a little bit more versatile this way. I really like to take certain items and like hide parts of them to make them like a whole different item. I just think it's really cool like that. And then we're just getting a couple more decorations on this island piece. I didn't use the island counters for this area just because I thought it looked nicer to be more squared off like this. But I did get like a cup of coins and the phone placed down. There's also some mugs by the sink. I'm just really enjoying the everyday clutter kit. I don't feel like I'm ever going to get over it. And those are just staples in my builds now. I mean, I spent years asking for a clutter stuff pack, and then when kits came out as clutter kits, and we finally have it. So they're my favorite. I'm so happy to have those. And of course the cutting boards as well. So just getting those in here. And I'm trying to think what else I add in this space other than a little towel by the sink. I think just a couple of stools at the island, which I said you can't sit at the island, but your Sim should be able to sit on the stools I put there. It's just they're going to hold their food instead of putting it down on the island to eat, which I think is fine. And I also put a different tile in the kitchen space just to give a little bit more of definition to where the kitchen space is. Just pushing in those chairs a little bit better so they're not hanging over the edge. I really like those. Those ones are from Get Famous. And then I also got a cork board in here. I just really like this item. It's a base game item. You can have like a pen pal and they can send you postcards from various areas. And most of the postcards are from actual locations in The Sims 3, which is a very fun Easter egg. I particularly get excited over the Sunset Valley one, which is the base game world that came in The Sims 3. And it was always my favorite too. Something about it just felt so nice and realistic. So I often had my Sims live there, even though I had other worlds available to me. And also in The Sims 3, you could only have like one world per save unless you moved your whole save to a different world. It was really weird and confusing, but I liked Sunset Valley. I feel like it had a lot of versatility, or it was just very versatile, where you could have Sims living by the beach or like up in the mountains. Like there was a lot to it, and there was a really cute town center area. But anyway, I just talked over the dining room space. I think this area looks so nice. I have seats for 8 Sims. I wanted to make sure we had a big table in here and could fit a lot of Sims since this is a really big house with a lot of bedrooms, and it's probably a good entertaining spot as well. So just have that in here. We also have the parenting board over there, as well as a fireplace. We have a few of those throughout the house. I believe there is one here, one in the dining room, one in the family room. Well, this is the dining room. Living room, dining room, family room, primary bedroom, and I think grandparents' room, because I did have a grandparents' room in this house, which is really cool. I quite enjoyed that. But anyway, over here, I am placing down those fire pokers, and then I got a temperature control and fire alarm. And before we head on into the living room, we're going to work on the greenhouse. So I just have a bunch of planter pots in here. I have mostly the ones on the floor, but I put a couple of vertical ones in here as well. But I want to say I got rid of them because I opted for a decoration instead, which you'll see here shortly. There's this beautiful decoration that came with Eco Lifestyle that is like a flower arranging table essentially, but it's so messy, and there's like a pot that's spilled over with dirt coming out of it, and there's twinkly lights on it, and it's just such a nice piece of clutter that I felt like I needed to put in this greenhouse. So I was excited to do that. And I feel like you have enough planters on the ground that you didn't really need the vertical ones. It was totally okay. And of course, I put a lot of decorative plants in here as well to make the space look a little bit more lively. And I just love the plants that are in The Sims 4. So if I can use more of them, I'm going to do that. So that is pretty much it for this room. Just getting a couple more of these planters, and then I should be swapping out that piece that I had mentioned before because it's just so pretty. I believe we should be grabbing that. Oh, maybe I don't do it right now, but I do get rid of the vertical planters to put that piece from Eco Lifestyle. But anyway, this is going to be the main living room. That's a little bit more of the formal one, even though it's very modern and big. I feel like this is where like gatherings and stuff are, whereas the other one is like a cozy family space. So I did use the modular sofas from Dream Home Decorator in this blue swatch. I used a lot of blue and green in this house, and I just think it looks so friendly and inviting. But of course, a lot of black and white as well, and the wood tones throughout. I just think it's such a nice space, and this couch is huge. You could have full, like, extended families come visit. I think the parties in this house would be so much fun. I don't usually play with that big of families, though. I feel like when I do play, it's like my Sims have one sibling, and they each have 2 kids. But if you have, like, 12 siblings, and they all have kids, this is the perfect house. Let's have the big family get-togethers in this house. I think that would be a lot of fun. I can't remember because I already have been talking for 17 and a half minutes now. But if I didn't already mention this, if you want to download this house and use it for yourself, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. And you can find that under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Miss Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. And also, if you are currently still listening to me, you're not currently subscribed, you should totally press that subscribe button because I post a lot of speed builds on the channel. So if you're enjoying this, you'll probably enjoy the other ones as well. And subscribing is completely free. It just lets you be notified more easily that I have uploaded a new video if you'd like to check it out. And that little bell is a good way to do that as well. If you click the notification bell, YouTube's a little bit better at actually letting you know. Having 2 chairs over here, I felt like looked a little bit too cluttered, so I decided for a lounge instead. Luckily, with the modular pieces, you can really customize how you want them all to be laid out. And then over in this space, I was thinking this would be a good spot for like the kids to sit down and get help with homework and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I set this up. So we have a board on the wall that has like some decorations and slots for you to put things in related to their schoolwork. That is also from Parenthood, and I have like some open books and stuff, as well as a book bag next to the table. By the way, if you hear any noises in the background, that would be my cat. He has been not letting me record this voiceover, so if you hear that, it's just him like banging at the door because he can't decide if he wants to be in here or not, but I want the door closed because the audio is better when I do that, so I apologize in advance for him. He's another lovely little guy if you would like to meet him. He's in a lot of my Twitch streams, and he likes to wreak havoc and knock things over, and it's a good time. So anyway, we're back outside now. I'm just getting some flower boxes and some additional windows up in the roof pieces, and I also adjusted some of the roof to make it a little bit different in shape. Some of it I didn't include because I fiddled around with the roof over on the right side quite a lot, so that I could include another section attached to the primary bedroom to have an ensuite. which worked out really nicely, but it just took so long. So I didn't include that, but you'll see it as we get upstairs and we're decorating that space. But anyway, out back here, we were doing a little bit more landscaping. I show some of it, not all of it. It's just so repetitive. And I really liked how the terrain paint came out here. This is the area with the shed for a cow or a llama. And then we have a couple of the chicken pens out here as well. And then I stack up some hay in the middle. I just think it looks really cute that way. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I am working on the backyard space that I think the family is going to enjoy and entertain in. So I use this stone from Vampires, which I think is so pretty. And I have more structured garden beds over here. And for a while, I was thinking I was going to have some more planters out here, but I get rid of those in the end. And we end up having like a seating space under a pergola and a pool back here. And I think this is one of my favorite backyards I've ever done. I'm so proud of it. So I really hope you will enjoy it as well. I feel like I've really struggled with backyards and they never feel quite as structured as I want them to be. They're a little bit messy, a little bit empty, but this one came together so nicely. It just took a while to get there because, as you can see, I was really trying to have those planters over there, but it ultimately didn't work in the end. And that's okay. That's a good thing because I ended up with an end result that I like so much better than this original concept. So I did end up using these couches, which I will be moving a little bit later. And I have the fire pit, which came with the little campers kit. And I also really liked those outdoor heaters that I put outside. I forget those exist a lot. I think they came with Dine Out, and I just think they were perfect for this build. So I was quite happy with that. And then just figuring out a rug to put under an outside table and getting some chairs at that as well. I wanted to make sure there was ample seating space out here for guests and the family to enjoy. And this is where I'm moving everything around, realizing this isn't working the way I wanted it to, and that we have space for a pool. It looks so good here. I really love that I added a pool. I was so happy with that. I think it just looks so luxurious. And it's kind of a nice mixture how this is like a modern home, but also there's like a small farm on it. And the Sims can do a lot of taking care of animals. And there's like a whole barn attachment, but like back here is just so luxurious. So I really liked those two things mixed together. I thought it looked quite nice. So under this pergola is where the fire pit is. I don't know how safe that is, having a fire like under a wooden structure. Probably not, but it's The Sims and I thought it looked pretty. So I decided to add that. And then we're just getting some like trim on the pool and a ladder in there. I believe I also get a floaty. I feel like I don't know how to put a pool without a floaty now that we have those. Those came with Island Living, but it's just such a nice item to have. Like your Sims can just lounge in the pool that way. It's so cute. Then over here, I'm just moving around and getting our barbecue. And I also add a couple more of these couches up on the porch space. A couple of just minor decorations up here. I didn't want it to be too busy. So just adding a rug, and I believe I put a little table between the two couches as well. And I might put a candle or something on it. Yeah, I do. Just keeping it really simple. And then we're heading on inside. There's actually a office space pretty close to the front door that's its own separate room. And so that's what I'm decorating now, using a lot of pieces from Dream Home Decorator. I just really liked the curve on these pieces. And I actually never use these bookcases. I don't typically go for the curves on these, but I thought it complemented the desk nicely. And I also really liked having it not symmetrical so we could have this light with the greenery hanging down over it. And I just think it ends up being a really cute office in the end. We have a laptop, all sorts of clutter on it, of course, from the Everyday Clutter kits. How could I not? And I also end up having like the background of this, like as if they were on Zoom or something, looked quite nice. Thinking they were working from home, or maybe they could be a streamer or something. It seems like a really simple office, but I do think it comes out quite cute, and I was pretty happy with it. I just can't get over how cute those little sticky notes are, and that mug. Oh, it's just adorable in here. I believe I leave the corkboard pretty empty instead of putting any postcards on it. I just thought it looked cleaner that way, and then if you actually want your sim to go through the gameplay of getting a pen pal, you can fill that out on your own. I tend to use it more as a decoration, but it is something fun you can do in game and see how many you can actually collect. And there's actually some you can get from your hamsters in My First Pet stuff, which is very strange. They go on like adventures and they'll bring you back a postcard from like Egypt. I'm like, oh, so while my Sim's child was at school, their hamster went to the ancient like pyramids. Lovely. That's interesting. It's really goofy. That whole stuff pack is a little weird, but it's kind of fun, and I was happy to get some more postcards. And there's actually some really pretty items in that stuff pack. I know it gets a lot of hate, and it makes sense why, because it's a DLC for a DLC, but it does have some really cute build buy stuff. Anyway, working on that room that is sort of that family living room at the bottom of the steps now, I used that play tent from Dream Home Decorator, which I think is so cute for your kids and your toddlers to go play in. We also have some comfy couches and just lots of clutter throughout that looks like a family is actively in this space with blankets and games and artsy stuff, as well as like mugs and stuff everyone was using. I tried to make the space look lived in, a little bit messier than the rest of the house, but still not that messy, and just have a lot more personality for the family, having just like little pieces of clutter here and there. I love that play tent. I just wish it was smaller, but it is such a cute item and such a fun thing for your Sims to have. I love when they add new things like that every once in a while for your Sims to play with. And it should be really interesting to see going forward what other new things we get, especially now that we're getting infants next year. I'm so excited about that. But this is just a little table by the exit. I skipped over it, but I just have a couple decorations on there. But we are upstairs now in the primary bedroom. It's very neutral in here. It's like grays and browns, and I think it looks so cozy. I'm using this 4-poster bed from City Living. It just looks so comfortable, and I feel like that's my dream bed. I really want like a modern 4-poster bed. So I'm always excited whenever I get to use this one. Just cluttering up the dresser here. I did go with this dresser from the Seasons expansion pack. I do really like this one. I have been using it a lot more lately. I think I just forgot about it for a while. And then I did rotate a mirror to put up above it to have like a really nice, simple horizontal mirror. That's the one that came with Discovery University. I like that the colorful swatches have a lot of stickers on them, but there is that brown swatch that's completely plain. And then in this little space, the downstairs is like where the kids do their homework. Upstairs, it's in the primary bedroom, and I thought it was a good spot to put a vanity, which of course came with the Vintage Glamour stuff pack. That's also a really good one. We got vanities and butlers, which is really cool if you want to hire a like live-in butler for your Sims to have, which I guess this household could probably afford that. It's a really big house. So if you wanted to turn one of the bedrooms into that, you could probably do that for your gameplay. That could be really interesting. Speaking of which, though, if you do download this house or any of my houses, I would love to see your families playing in them. You can tag me on Twitter. I'm really active over there. I'm just Miss Gryphi. So I would love to see that if you do play in my houses. You don't have to, but if you would like to share, I would love to see it. Anyway, this is going to be the nursery. I really had a lot of fun decorating this room. I think it comes out so cute in the end, and it has me so excited to decorate some more nurseries once infants come out. But I think the colors in here are just like so calming and peaceful. I did use this little bassinet that came with the werewolves pack, and I just thought it really made the whole theme of this room come together. I went like very naturey and browns and greens, and I just think it comes together really nicely in the end. I do have this little Sasquatch plushie in here, and the lights I have hanging in this room I think look so nice here as well. Those ones are from Desert Luxe, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I want to say those just came with the Desert Luxe pack. And then I also just created a little changing table over here by raising up an ottoman into a dresser. And I used one of my favorite rugs in here. It just was the perfect colors. So I was quite happy with that. And I think we just got one more little dresser over in this corner, and that should be it for this bedroom, for this little nursery. And then the other bedrooms are for various other ages of Sims. I typically don't have more than one nursery in a build, but that could be fun too if you have a lot of young kids. But maybe that'll be a build for another time. That's not what I did here today. Also, this corner was looking a little empty, so I added a giraffe, as you do. Anyway, this is going to be a grandparent's bedroom. I really was a bit unsure about this room, and it's a little bit less put together than the other rooms. I feel like they probably brought some of their old furniture, and it just kind of had to fit in this room, and they don't care about what their bedroom looks like. They just want to be here with their kids and their grandkids, and I was just thinking it was really wholesome, so I had a bit of fun in this room. Of course, they have a fireplace in here as well, which is so nice. And I have like memory boxes and all sorts of random clutter and like a cozy chair in the corner. I think that is so cute. And I think quite realistic as well. I know my grandma is like obsessed with recliners. So I was kind of thinking of that since we don't really have recliners in The Sims. I feel like just a big comfy chair is as close as we have. And then I just got a couple of bathrobes in here as well and a couple of different paintings. I wasn't sure what I wanted at first, so I just swap it out and figure it out as I go. But this is going to be a teenager's room. This one is so colorful, and I thought that this bed was really fun. This isn't one I use very often because the style of the bed is not one I particularly like. It's just not my style, but it has a lot of swatches on it that I think have a lot of potential for some teenagers' rooms that I haven't played with yet, just because it's not my personal favorite bed. So I was excited to use this because it's just a little something different, and I love getting out of my comfort zone and decorating with different pieces I don't typically use. So I was thinking this sim was really into nature, and so that's kind of what I went with. But I was also thinking, you know, Sims are multifaceted, and I wanted to make sure they had other interests as well. So it's just like a general teens room that's quite cute, and there's a little bit of a focus on nature and like greens and blues in here, but it just has random things that I think a teen would like. I didn't have too much of a strong concept of who this teenager was. I just was having fun decorating it. It's interesting how sometimes when I build houses or apartments, I'm like, this is exactly who this sim is, and this is their like life's dreams and goals. And other times I'm like, this room's blue. So this was kind of one of those times, but I thought the room came out really cute. It's one of my favorite bedrooms in this whole house. So yeah, over here I am just trying to figure out what to put on the wall up above this dresser. And I remembered we had this painting set, which I think is so pretty. I love all of the pictures there and the varieties of colors. And then I just got a lamp over in the corner and a bit of clutter to put up on the dresser as well. I really like those succulents that came with Discover University. I think they're quite pretty. And I forgot about those little Polaroids that are like in a heart shape that I put on the wall from the high school pack. That is so cute. And of course I got some hanging clothes in here as well. I just wanted the space to feel lived in and like it had a lot of personality. And I feel like I achieved that. But definitely let me know what you think of this room, who you imagine might live in this space, and what other sort of rooms you would like to see in the future. Anyway, this is going to be the next room. This one is for like a kid or tween, somewhere in that age range, and it's very green. I had a lot of green and blue going on in this house. It was just like the colors that seem to be working really well. I think they look really nice with the brown wood floors that I have in this space. So I just kind of went with it and figured out what I wanted as I went. I really love this bed. This one is also a 4-poster bed. I don't know why I said poster. A 4-poster bed from Seasons, and it's just so cute. I love the curtains coming off of it, and so I wanted this space to be a little bit messier. So I have some clothes on the floor. I'm looking for the clothing clutter from Parenthood now. We also got one from high school years, but this one looks a little bit younger, so I decided to grab that. And then figuring out what sort of dressers and stuff I want in this space. And I also wanted to have like some kids' toys, but I didn't want it to be too messy, or I wanted to have like other things in here. So I have a desk in here as well, but I wanted to have like a big dinosaur toy in the corner, and then trying to figure out what rug to put in here. I just think the colors are so cute. And this wallpaper strongly reminds me of Animal Crossing. You see it, right? If you play Animal Crossing, the leaf pattern. I think this sim likes Animal Crossing. I like that idea. And so they have some toys in here as well. A couple of dressers, lots of things on the floor, and just like posters all throughout. It comes out so cute in the end. I really enjoy decorating kids' rooms. I think there's so much personality you can add to those spaces, so it's quite fun. Anyway, the other room upstairs is not a bedroom. It's like a storage room, and it's the room that connects the house to the barn. So I put some like old Christmas decorations up there, as well as just like some random items that could be storage. And then we are inside working on the barn, and I'm going to go back and forth between the pathway upstairs, the upstairs of the barn, the downstairs of the barn, and outside for the remainder of the video to figure out how I wanted this all to work. I do stack up a lot of hay in here. We end up getting a couple of like open windows up on either side of this nook, and then there is a bathroom in this space as well. So it's this place if your Sims need to go to the bathroom while they're working on taking care of the chickens or just wash their hands or what have you. I do have that available for them. I thought that would be important, and it was also a good space to put the ladder against so that, it was leaning against a wall. So that's what I did in there. For right here, I do have a woodworking bench, which I keep, but I end up moving upstairs because I put something else over in that area, and right now I can't think of what I put there. But I do change that to be something else in a little while. But I'm also going through all of the decorations in the regular catalog as well as debug and show live edit objects to see what else we can make this space or like put into the space to make it look more realistic and like it's being used, lifelike, messy. I just wanted it to look like an actual space your Sims have their chickens in, and I think it looks so cute in the end. I really liked this concept. I don't ever decorate a space where I get to use terrain paint inside. So something about that was really exciting for me. I quite enjoyed it. And then I just am figuring out this bathroom. I have some storage in here, which is a shelving unit from Die Now, I'm pretty sure. And I thought that the sink from the Laundry Day stuff pack was so good in here. It's like a rusty green sink and it's so cute. Oh, and then upstairs in the barn, it's so cluttered. I have like extra hay. I have signs they might put out when they're occasionally like selling produce from their farm or things from the animals. I have just like all kinds of old stuff up here and extra storage, maybe a spot that they have extra like pots and stuff for their plants. Mostly lots of signage and like just buckets of things, extra soil. I just grabbed so much stuff from there and I thought that this tells a cool story to have all of this. We also have an old bike and I had a blast decorating this space. I just love cluttered things like this. We also have some extra tools up here, some random little signs and like cracks and tears in the walls. And I end up using the curtains that came with werewolves to put over the windows up here because they look like sheets. And I also added kitty litter up here and like a cat bowl and stuff because you can access this space from the upstairs of the other house. So the cat can definitely get up here even though there's a ladder. And I was just thinking it was such a cute idea to have the cats like have their own little space in the barn. So that was the idea there. And with that, I cannot believe it, but we've made it to the end of this voiceover. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're all the way at the end, make sure you comment down below. If you're listening to this, type in the comments applesauce so I know that you were watching all the way to the end. But with that, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the screenshots. Bye, everyone.